Gatlin Downey in the 37, bringing us to the green.
Can Mitchell Collins get A1?
And a win, and Ben Crouch is going to take the win here at Poker.
Side by side, it's going to be a watch away.
Push on the outside, 19.
Heading down to the stripe, it's going to be Mike Fink Jr., number 38, winning.
Moves him up. Here comes Jesiorski to the inside. In the MacTools Cup Series for race number 12 at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, a short drive from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Instead of 35 cars this time, we have 42 cars in the field, ready to take on this just over a half-mile short track. Should be a good one, with Hunter Blade getting ready to lead the field to the green flag. Welcome up into the booth. I'm Josh Williamson. Alongside me in the booth, Napa fan has joined the booth. Napa, thank you for joining the booth. Welcome.
Yeah, great to be here for this race at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Should be an interesting one with this being a short track and with the expanded field. We picked an interesting track to expand the field here for the MacTools Cup Series, but could be a wild one here tonight, I believe, at the Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Alright, so we've had the last two races. Winners come from the middle of the field at Talladega. It was Zachary Fitzwater getting his first win. At Chicagoland, it was Samet Oskin. Fitzwater started in the 15th position, Samet Oskin 17th. Where do you think the winner's going to come from? The back, the middle, the front?
I believe it's going to be more towards the front of the field here tonight for this one. Since it is a short track passing, and short tracks isn't that frequent, I'm looking inside the top 10, maybe the top 15, and probably somebody on the inside lane as well there, maybe starting around the 7th position.
7th position would be Jeremiah Dwayne in the 32 Tide Pontiac. Well, we're just about set to get this race started. Meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at your starting lineup. In row 1, we find Hunter Blade in the 12 and the 6 of Jarrett Tallmadge. Row 2, Benny Watson in the 21, Bradley Reim in the 24. In row 3, we're going to find Mitchell Collins making his first start alongside Alexander Jones. In row 4, we're going to find Jeremiah Dwayne and Christian Holder. In row 5, we're going to find Zach Winkle and Aric Jacks. In row 6, we're going to find Stephen Colon making his first start as well, next to Dakota Prior. In row 7, we're going to find Jason Dady and Damian Blue. And in row 8, we're going to find Samet Oskin, the last race's winner, and Jonathan Martin. In row 9, we're going to find Brett Sierra making his first start alongside Mark Sylas. And in row 10, we're going to find Ryan Minneker and Gatlin Downey. In row 11, we're going to find Trip McGuinness and Darwish Jr. And in row 12, we are going to find KeShawn Richardson making his first start alongside Ryan Benjamin. Row 13, we find points leader Sebastian Cucalon alongside Jacob Brits. And in row 14, we're going to find Talladega winner Zachary Fitzwater and Caleb Colburn. In row 15, we're going to find Mike Cook and Ethan Hoffman. And in row 16, we're going to find Cody Rhodes and Alejandro Rodriguez. In row 17, we're going to find Casey Nanako alongside Nathan Stapleton making his first start. Then we have Ben Crouch and Trey Wright. In the next row behind them, we're going to find Nonagon Scott making his first start alongside Ace Garcia. In row 20, we're going to find Noah Clifton and Camden Jesiorski. Rounding out row 21, Ben Jung, and first-timer Zachary DiLello. Now let's take a look at your race facts here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, otherwise known as Lucas Oil Raceway. 42 cars now, 60 laps. It's a half-mile short track progressive banking, so we are going to see multiple grooves of racing. Should be a good one. Let's head to the track to start our pace laps. Field rolls off pit road. Hunter Blade there on the inside. Row 1, Jarrett Tallmadge on his outside. Blade with a win earlier this season at California Speedway. Tallmadge has yet to get a win. In the second row there you see Benny Watson and Bradley Reim. Both of them have yet to get a win. They're in 5th place though. You see Mitchell Collins in the 10 making his first start here in the MacTools Cup Series. As the pace car comes in, we are set to get this race started. Hunter Blade inside. Tallmadge on the outside, leading us to the green at Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's waving and we're racing. Tallmadge shoots out to the lead in the 6th car. Leaving Blade to battle with Bradley Reim. Tallmadge to the lead, and he is going to lead lap 1.
That outside lane got a really good jump. A little bit surprised by that, but maybe the outside lane is going to be the preferred line here. And if that's the case, Tallmadge might have a good advantage here tonight at IRP.
Side by side back there with the 17 Christian Holder and the 10 of Collins. Holder, remember, had that win at Las Vegas. Sits high in the standings going into this race, and oh my, the caution's already out. Over in turn 3, looks like trouble with possibly with Cody Rhodes. He was just stopped on the inside. Benjamin on pit road also. Have to see what happened to bring out this caution. On lap number 2, you see smoke and tire tracks going into turn 3. We'll have to figure out what happened there. Tallmadge still leading, Hunter Blade in 2nd, Bradley Reim 3rd, Benny Watson there in the 4th position, and Alexander Jones in the 14 in 5th. Let's go back and see what happened. First look from up above. McGuines in the 97 on the inside, Fitzwater coming up through the middle. Looks like he might get into the back of McGuines. He does, right into the right rear quarter panel, turn him up into the outside wall. Alejandro Rodriguez there in the 83 scraping along. In the 99, Sebastian Cucalon turned by Cook on the inside. Stapleton in the 41, another guy making his first start, sneaking by on the outside in that 41. The 27, another guy making his first start, Zachary DiLello, scooting through ahead of Ben Jung. The 7, Nonagon Scott making through. Noah Clifton able to slow up there in the 01. And everyone gets it right. It looks like they'll be able to continue on.
Yeah, 3 wide at a place like this is a little bit tricky, and Fitzwater just gets into McGuines there. Not much McGuines could do there. Fitzwater had a run, and McGuines tried to block it, and everyone's scrambling to avoid the accident, causing another one. But thankfully, no massive hits here. Everyone should be able to continue after this accident down the backstretch on lap 2.
They said again, look right there between the 99 and 29. Nanako just barely makes it through. Can't tell you how many times we've seen that out of him. Just a superb job making it through. As everyone gets righted, and yeah, we should be able to see all 42 going on. Let's go to the restart. Field coming to get the 1 to go this time. And a gap in the field back there. Slow car on the bottom. It's Stephen Colon in the 25. Looks like he has had a mechanical failure of some sort. That would be the 6th or 7th failure that we've seen in the last 3 races. We saw 3 at Talladega and 3 at Chicagoland.
It's a tough break for him there. It could just be a tire issue, too. And if that's the case, he can get back out there, but he's most likely going to go a lap down here as they're going to be taking the green flag here next time.
Pace car is getting ready to dive on the pit road. Tallmadge going to lead the field down single file. Hunter Blade 2nd, Bradley Reim 3rd. Benny Watson 4th, Alexander Jones in the 5th position. Green flag is out once again. We're back racing at IRP. To the inside, here comes Blade in the 12.
Have to see if he works that inside lane to his liking, but that outside lane is going to be strong off the corner, but Blade's going to have a nose entering.
Turn 3, he's got the advantage. Is Tallmadge going to shoot by back on top? He is right there. They were almost even at the line, but looks like Blade led that lap. Bradley Reim trying to find a way to get in the middle of this battle here.
Bradley Reim's closing right in on these guys as they go side by side. That 24 is right there to make a move in case someone makes a mistake. Not only that, he's going to be right there on their back bumper here in a couple of laps.
Tallmadge hanging tough on the outside. Look at him, nose ahead of Hunter Blade going into turn 1 and 2. Benny Watson in the 21 working his way into the picture behind the 24.
Got to give a lot of credit to Tallmadge here in the number 6 machine, working that outside lane there on the 12. This is good stuff here at IRP. They've been side by side for about 3 laps already.
Tallmadge finally gets by Blade and holds on to the lead. Blade looking to make another move on the inside, but he slips coming out of turn 2. Tallmadge safely out front for the time being, or is he? Blade peeking to the inside, not quite there.
Yeah, Tallmadge definitely seems to have the strongest car here tonight. It's going to be interesting to see if anyone can get around him, but with that outside lane being the preferred line, as we saw there, Hunter Blade tried to work the inside, but he just simply did not have enough to get around the 6 who had the stronger line.
All singled out right now. Looks like Blade taking another peek, not quite there. Tallmadge continues to lead. We're on to lap 13. All single filed out behind. Looks like we've got Fitzwater here trying to hold off Rodriguez, got a damaged car in the 83, and Caleb Colburn, who's coming off a win in the Clash. That's going to be for 22nd, just behind Brett Sear in the 91, another guy who's making his first start. Caleb Colburn on the outside. He looks like he's going to get the spot off of 4.
Got a lot of battling going on back in the field there. Always important to watch out for it. Of course, we saw that wreck happen on lap 2. You never know when something could happen back in here. But up front there, keeping it pretty nice and straight. We'll have to see if anyone can get a pass on somebody throughout the top 20.
Indeed, very smooth right now, except in the back of the pack here. Nonagon Scott going to the outside of Ace Garcia. Looks like they're almost forced it 3 wide around. Zachary DiLello thought better of it, pulled back out of it. Nonagon making a move to the outside. Looks like he might be able to take the position away from the 27. That would be for 30th on the grid.
Have to see how Tallmadge holds off the rest of the field as this race goes along. The more these guys battle behind him, the more he's going to be able to pull away. And of course, right behind Tallmadge for that race lead, not much going on, I do believe. But these guys are going to be losing time to the race leader if they're going to have any shot at getting to the race leader. They can't battle too much back in there. They're going to lose a lot of time.
Saw Ryan Benjamin back onto the pit road. Wonder if that was for complications of that first incident, getting some sort of repair on that number 9, but he is now falling multiple laps down. Hunter Blade working on Tallmadge, going into 1 right on the back bumper. Moves him up.
He's going to try to work the inside once again. We'll have to see if he can make this pass on the inside lane. Haven't seen it work yet tonight.
And Bradley Reim is coming in the 24. Look at him pull up to the back of Blade. Through turn 4, he's continuing to close in.
Tallmadge is able to hold on to that outside lane, and given that he can do that the rest of the night, I think he's going to have a good shot at this race victory. Now, I'm not sure. Do we have a set of pit stops on this race? Will they have to come down at some point?
They will have to come down probably around halfway, thinking about lap 40 or so, probably when they come in. We'll have to see what kind of strategy these guys pull. Do they come in early? Do they come in late, try to use as much as they can, or do they come right in the middle? It could be the difference between winning this race, because if you pit, you could gain extra ground ahead of guys, but you don't have as much at the end. In the middle, you could probably split the race perfect. If you wait too long, you lose ground and probably wouldn't be able to make it up at the end. So we'll just have to see when they come in here who's going to be the first guy to go and when. The pit window's not quite open just yet, but we are closing in on 40 laps to go just in the next handful of laps here. We're 54 to go that time.
You know, one thing these guys have to be careful for, if we get a green flag set of pit stops, the entry onto the racetrack and the entry onto the pit lane is roughly around the same place down the backstretch. So these guys have to be careful not to get into each other down the backstretch and cause a caution during green flag stops, because that can turn a race on its head when that happens and end up with someone completely new dominate this race.
That could also happen, and we'll wait to see when will happen when someone comes down the pit road. Right now we've got lap traffic ahead of Benny Watson in the 21. That's 97 Trip McGuinness, and Alexander Jones falling back from the 21 for the time being, but trying to work his way back up. Everyone all spaced out, single file right now, but when we get to the back here, they've all single filed it out, and not really a whole lot of battling going on right now. Wonder if people are thinking about saving their stuff right now, or just haven't been able to get a run. Looks like we do have indeed side by side going into 3. That's Fitzwater and Stapleton side by side for, that's about the 24th position on the track. Let's give it to Stapleton in the 41.
Another thing is the tire wear on these cars is also going to come into effect, which is probably why they're single file a lot more now. But not only that, whenever you have the outside lane become the dominant line in a race, it's very difficult to make a run on somebody, because you can't go to the outside and pass them because there's no room to do so. A little bit different. You can't nudge them out of the outside lane like you could if they were on the inside lane and the inside lane was dominant. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can get the Tallmadge in this race, but do not give it to them quite yet. There's a lot of race left to be run here tonight, and to be anybody's shot, especially after pit stops.
We'll go back up to the front here, see what's going on, and not really a whole lot has changed. It is still Tallmadge first, Blade second, Reim third, but closing in behind lap car Trip McGuinness. If Benny Watson stays with him, maybe it could benefit him getting up to the bumper of Bradley Reim, but right now he's got a car in front of him, and if they go side by side, that will definitely lose him ground, so he's got to be smart when he wants to try to get by the 97 if he can.
I think these guys are riding out a little bit too until we get the green flag cycle of pit stops. Of course, if it will be green flag, but odds are, the way this race has gone since that first wreck, it looks pretty calm out there, and I think we'll probably stay green until we get that first and only cycle, but be interesting to see who gets the advantage off that cycle. And I'm pretty sure all these guys are starting to think about what strategy they might play here for the pit stop in this race.
Indeed, it is going to be very interesting to see what kind of strategy these guys pull. Who's going to be the first in? Do you want to wait for someone to come in? Do you want to be the last guy out? Because there's bonus points for leading a lap. There's a 1-point bonus for leading a lap in this race, but the big points are, of course, at the end of the race. Do you want to worry about the bonuses? Do you want to try to get the best track position you can? This is going to be interesting when we come in. We're coming in on 44 laps to go this next time by. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see when these guys decide to come down, if they decide to come down.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because the tire fall off here isn't as much as it is at other places. It's still a little bit significant, but I'm imagining that you want to still come in before everybody else. But the big disadvantage of that, and I mentioned it earlier, like if you get a caution that happened during that green flag cycle and you've already made your stop, your lap down, your race is effectively done. So that's what makes these races kind of interesting. You definitely want to have that advantage on the field if there is no caution that ends up coming out, of course. But if there is a caution that comes out, you want to be one of the last ones that come down the pit lane, because then you get to stay on the lead lap and stay in contention for the race win.
Boy, Blade drove in deep that time. Looked like he was going to get right to the inside of Tallmadge. Looked like he had slipped a bit going into turn 3. Blade drove really close. He is working on trying to get up to the front to the bumper of Tallmadge. Look at how close he has gotten going into turn 3. He slips a bit. Tallmadge going up. Blade to the bottom.
Wondering if the tire wear is starting to come into effect for this 6 machine. That 12 is really closed in these past couple of laps, but I don't know if Tallmadge is going to give him an opportunity to get around him or not.
That that outside lane hanging tough here at IRP. Tallmadge continues to slide up. Blade to the inside once again. Can't quite get there. Tallmadge with that outside making it work.
The top four, I think, also have a shot at this race victory, but the rest of the field about 4 seconds off the race leader. Everyone from Watson on up. You got Watson, Reim, Blade, and Tallmadge. Those 4 guys are all going to be in contention for this race win. It's going to take some interesting strategy for Alex Jones and back there through the field if they're going to have a shot at getting past the 6.
Yeah, and it's not like that they're side by side and making themselves fall back. No, they just fallen back outside the pack because the front 4, well, they were battling, but the front 4 have not been side by side very much. So these guys are definitely going to need a caution or just a very good pit strategy if they want to get back up to the front. You see Derwish Jr. here getting worked on by Jason Dady. Neither one of these drivers have a win yet. This is for the 13th position. Looks like it'll stay the same as we work through the field here. Outside line, Mike Cook hounding the 88 of Camden Jezorski. That's going to be for 29th on the grid. Watch for turn 3. Cook into the back of Jezorski. The 88 hanging tough though.
Right ahead of him, you see the 20 try to get a run on 38 again.
That's for 27.
Not much working there for Ben Jung and the 20 quite yet.
That outside is the best line here at IRP, and it has shown tonight so far. Saw the last restart some sort of problem with the 25 of Stephen Colon. He pulled onto the track again and is currently listed in 39th place, 1 lap down ahead of 38th. Tail end of the lead lap, Noah Clifton. If he finishes there, man, what a big blow in points this could be for him. Meanwhile, we check back up front. Look at Blade peeking to the inside once again, going down the back straightaway. No, he falls back out of it once again. That outside is just the dominant line here early on, just past halfway.
Yeah, I do believe that the 12 has the slightly better race car, but it's just that hard to make a pass when you have someone working the outside like Tallmadge is in the 6. So Hunter Blade, you know, he's going to do all he can. I think it's going to come down to pit stops, and if the 12 can just get on the pit lane and get a 1/10 of a second on the 6, that might be enough for him to win this race.
What a great story for Tallmadge, though, coming into this race. He was listed 124 points out of the points lead, listed in 35th in the standings, which was last before we had this field expansion. What a showing he is putting on in that 6 car, battling against the guy who, coming into this race, is 13th in the standings, but man, he has been at the front of the point standings nearly all season. Just a couple of mediocre runs in the last 2 races. He's faltered a bit, but he's still well in the championship hunt. Tallmadge not really in it right now, but this has got to be a huge confidence booster for that 6 team.
Interesting, a lot of leagues have it sometimes where the guy who's last in points ends up getting a race victory. I mean, it happened in the first Dash Series over in the NOFSRL with Jordan Lopez. And might happen here tonight with Tallmadge. You got to give him a lot of credit. He's raced a clean race, and he's been able to hold off that number 12 here tonight. But the big story is going to be pit stops. Once we get to those I'll get to that cycle of pit stops, I should say. That's really going to determine who wins this race.
We're coming in on 30 to go, or we just got 30 to go that time. So I'm wondering when these guys are actually going to come in. They stay out once again, coming to 29 to go. The pit window's been open for about 15-20 laps now. I don't know what their strategy is. I don't even know if they know what their strategy is. We'll just have to see what kind of things unfold here in the final laps.
Hunter Blade is doing all he can to get around this 6 machine now. I got to give him a lot of credit. He's trying to work that inside lane, and he's getting a little bit closer, but Tallmadge just keeps looking going on the outside. But this time, he might not be able to hold off the 12.
To the inside, Blade poked the nose in. He's there by half a car length on the inside. He slips again off turn 2. Tallmadge back up front.
Just so hard to hold that inside lane through these corners. Of course, progressive banking here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. That outside lane is banked a little bit higher, and you don't have to slow down as much. So that's definitely working in the favor of Tallmadge here in this race. But Hunter Blade's going to try again.
Tallmadge shoots back by on the outside, continues to hold the lead. And Bradley Reim, another guy who has not had the best of seasons. He has had so much bad luck. Came into this race 32nd in the standings, 91 back from point leader Sebastian Cucalon. Sebastian, he doesn't even have a win this season. He's up there leading the points. He's just been that consistent until, well, he's all the way back here in 37th place, 18.5 seconds off the lead in that 99 car. So I don't know what the point standings are going to look like after this race. This just been topsy-turvy this whole season. No real guy has been very consistent, and the points lead has changed hands several times to reflect that. I don't know what's going on. The guys in the back are up front, and the guys in the front are all the way back.
Yeah, this is just one of those races here. IRP is not a widely used racetrack, so a lot of these guys don't have as much experience on it. That's definitely playing into how this race plays out, because obviously, as what we've seen, you know, it's difficult to make a pass here, and it's just a unique racetrack all around, that outside lane being the preferred line.
And we know at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the preferred line is usually always on the inside, and it is different tonight. But you see Blade drawing in closer again. He slipped coming out of turn 2. He's falling back a bit. Got to be wondering when they're going to come in, because those tires have just got to be a mess right now.
Part of me is wondering if they're going to be able to make it to the end, though. It's a short track, so, you know, they might be able to make it on fuel, and because of that, they might try to stretch it the whole way through here. I mean, we're on lap 54 of 75. Just don't know. Well, never mind. There they go. Cycle's going to start right here. A lot of guys in the back coming down.
The guys in the front stay up.
Bradley
Bradley
down.
Reim.
That's going to be interesting right there. I think those guys might be at the advantage as long as it stays green.
Watson, also another guy that came down, who was listed fourth last time they came by. Alexander Jones, another guy who stayed out in the 14. Currently listed third. Here comes Tallmadge and Blade. Is Jones going to come down? Jones stays out, and he'll get a bonus point for leading a lap. But should he have come down, is that going to be detrimental to him by not coming down and getting a pit service?
If a caution comes out right now, the answer to that will be no. But odds are, considering the majority of the field has already come down, I think Alex Jones is really one of the last ones yet to make a stop. It looks like he's going to come down cleanly. Watch out for the 7 and the 32 here. My goodness, that was close.
Dwayne makes it in, but after contacting with Nonagon Scott in the 7, you're right, that was very, very close. But they made it through, and
let's see where Watson and Reim came out in relation to Tallmadge and Blade here.
And Jones came in.
Where is Tallmadge and Blade?
Jones came in onto the pit road. Tallmadge and Blade are going down the backstretch into turn 3. There's Tallmadge on the inside of Casey Nanako, and look at that gap back to Hunter Blade. Smooth sailing for Tallmadge right now.
Yeah, these guys, they took their stop right kind of in the middle of the cycle. And like I said, tire wear wasn't too significant, so just the fact that they were the leaders, I think, helped them out a lot. And that might seal it, only unless we get another caution in this race, which is possible. You never know what could happen in a place like this. I think Tallmadge might have this one in the bag, possibly. Alex Jones, though, he had a good run there in the 14. I think he's going to move up to second. So it does appear that the later you came down, the better of a run you got.
Indeed, paid off in all the best of ways, except the lead for Alexander Jones. But if he does finish up second, it would be an amazing run for that 14. Even after he came off the win at Michigan, he's another guy. He's had a quiet season. He's not really been up towards the front. He did luck out that win at Michigan, but what a strategy call to get him up to second. Hunter Blade back there in third. He's just got to be agonizing watching the 6 up there leading this thing.
Especially after he started on the pole as well. Now, I watch out for Alex Jones in the 14 here. He has just slightly fresher tires, and I think by the time we get to the end of this run, he might be a little bit faster than the 6 machine, just based off that one lap that he stayed out. Not only that, Tallmadge is trying to get around, or he's stuck behind the 25 of Stephen Cucalon here, who had a tire issue earlier on. But look at that 14. He's closing in here on the number 6 machine.
It was 1.19 the last time by. He took almost a half second off just that lap, 0.51. So the 14 is charging, coming to 14 laps to go. Look at him drawing in closer and closer and closer coming out of turn 4.
Not only that, Hunter Blade and Bradley Reim back in there, they're starting to close in a little bit more as well. But watch out for Alex Jones. He might have the advantage here in this 14 machine. That car looks really fast compared to the 6.
We have not had a repeat winner yet in the MTCS. 11 different winners in the first 11 races. Tallmadge does not have a win. Jones has a win at Michigan in race 9. Blade at California Speedway. They are closing in. Jones right there, closest to getting the lead, and Tallmadge continues to be held up by Cologne in the 25.
I think we're going to start to see these guys kind of bunch back up, but they're not going to be able to pass each other just like that. Obviously, we saw before the pit stops how difficult it was for Hunter Blade to get to the inside. I think Alex Jones is going to have a little bit of trouble in the 14 as well here. But he's still going to have a chance, though, and we saw Hunter Blade come close a few times. Maybe, just maybe, on the final lap, you can edge him at the line. Maybe not complete the pass, but all you need to do is lead the last lap to win the race.
That is absolutely right, and Jones would have the 1-point bonus anyway, even though he does already have 1-point bonus for leading a lap. Tallmadge has locked up the most laps led. He's just dominated this thing basically since lap 1. Now, Alexander Jones trying to steal it away. Cologne pulling away from Tallmadge. Is that Tallmadge slipping back, or is that just Cologne found some speed? I think something's wrong with the 6 car right now.
I wouldn't say anything's wrong necessarily with the 6 car, but that thing could be a little bit tighter than a lot of these other guys. And when you come to a short track like this, you don't want to be too tight. But the setup on that thing, I might have gone away a little bit. Alex Jones is right there in the 14, and we'll have to see if he can make a move on the 6.
Oh, to the inside, here he comes through 2. Tallmadge on the outside, I swear. The only move they're going to be able to make to get by, he's got to go to the outside, and Tallmadge pretty much has that lane covered right now. I don't know if he has a chance to get by, but man, again, what a performance by this 14, even if he finishes second. What a run. He's got to find that outside. He's got to find Tallmadge napping if he wants to get by.
Don't look now, the 12 of Hunter Blade's also starting to creep back into this lead battle as well. We see him coming into the picture. He's less than a second now behind Tallmadge. But I would not count on Alex Jones quite yet. He's going to have a shot here on the 6. He might not even make, might not even take a mistake out of Tallmadge, excuse me. But that 14, he's just trying to find the advantage. And watch out here for the 97. McGuines is coming up into the fray here, and that's definitely going to give Jones an advantage.
Or it might give Tallmadge an advantage. Look at him go to the outside of the 97, and Jones gets held up with 5 or 6 laps to go that time. That could be the final nail in the coffin that delivers Tallmadge his first win in the MacTools Cup Series. Jones continuing to get held up in that 14. Now going to the outside, there's Blade right behind him. Now Jones has to worry about the lap car of McGuines, and he'll probably have to worry about Blade, but no. McGuines cuts off Blade for the time being, but boy, that just ruined probably any hope that Alexander Jones had of winning this race, unless he can pull some sort of drastic comeback with 4 laps to go. He is coming, though.
Yeah, I think he's going to come back to the back bumper, but he lost a lot of opportunities to find a way around the 6 there. Lost a lot of time. And I really thought that was actually going to hurt the 6 machine there, but he was able to get around the 97. But 14 might not be too happy with McGuinness after this one.
Absolutely not, but Tallmadge continuing to be held up by the 25 of Cologne, and Jones is right there once again, 3 laps to go. All about where Tallmadge goes going into turn 1. Look at him going to the low side this time, protecting the bottom.
I don't know if you want to protect the bottom. I mean, we got an outside lane that no one's been using all night long, you know, and a little bit surprised Alex Jones hasn't tried all the way up by the wall, but that might work.
2 laps to go. The gap growing just a little bit that time, 0.09 seconds. Tallmadge is just scooting away. We're coming to the white flag this next time by and waiting for it to come out. Tallmadge still right behind Cologne. Jones right there on the bumper, but 1 lap to go here at IRP.
He's going to try, I think, but I just don't think he's going to have enough time to get to the 6 machine.
Poking the nose there on the bottom side going through turn 1 and 2. Not a chance for now. Tallmadge staying smooth in the middle of the track, and it's enough. Career win number 1, Jarrett Tallmadge wins at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
He deserved it too. Held everybody off there. Alex Jones couldn't quite get to him there, but still a great run for the 14. Hunter Blade in 3rd, Bradley Reim, and then the 16. Didn't really talk about Damian Blue in this race, but he finished in the 5th position.
Great quiet run for the 16. Pit cycles worked out for him too. Christian Holder, the guy who came in 3rd in the standings. He was 15 back. Gonna probably make up all the points he lost to Sebastian Cucalon at Chicagoland. He might have the points lead once this thing is over and done with as he pulls into the stall. Blade pulling in, dejected, but what a run for the 12. Couldn't quite get back up to the front and take the win away from the 6 at Tallmadge. Second pit stall there as he came in. Blade started on the pole, didn't quite get the race win. A dominating performance by Jarrett Tallmadge. There you see the final results. Tallmadge, Jones, Blade, Reim, Blue, Holder, Sylas, Jr., Collins in his first start. 9th place. Good run for that Valvoline number 10 Pontiac. And rounding out the top 10, Jeremiah Dwayne. We'll take a look at the rest of your race finishing results there. Ethan Hoffman, the only car to... not the only car. Brian Benjamin didn't finish the race. He finished 72 laps down. Some sort of problem on the 9. Wasn't able to come back around and onto the track once again and finish. Ethan Hoffman, the 2nd race in a row, some sort of mechanical failure. Had one at Chicagoland, knocked him out, and a piston problem is going to relegate him to a 41st place finish. All right, any final thoughts about this race, Napa?
I think it was interesting that not many passes were able to be made in this one. That's just the nature of the racetrack since the outside lane is so strong. But Tallmadge, you know, he started on the outside pole, and apparently that was the best place to start because he got the advantage on Hunter Blade, and that's where you want to be all night long, was that outside lane. I'm glad that they didn't wreck during the pit stop, so made it interesting. But congratulations to Tallmadge on his first career win. He definitely deserved that one, held everyone off, and did everything right here tonight at IRP.
And we still have not had a repeat winner this season. Race 12, 12 different winners. Remember, Daytona was Jonathan Martin. Race 2, Hunter Blade. Then Christian Holder at Vegas. At Phoenix, it was Aric Jacks. Race 5 at Atlanta, Noah Clifton. Mark Sylas at Richmond. Ryan Benjamin took it at Kansas. Race 8 at Pikes Peak, it was Casey Nanako. In Race 9, Alexander Jones, the 2nd place guy tonight. In Race 10, it was Zachary Fitzwater at Talladega. In Row 11, it was Sam Dawson on a fuel mileage run. It's not quite a fuel mileage run in this race, but fuel strategy did come into play, and Jarrett Tallmadge capitalized in pit cycles, and so did Alexander Jones in a way. Moved from what was it, fifth he was in to second. So great strategy for those guys, but Jones couldn't get around the absolute dominating number 6 car that was Jarrett Tallmadge. So that about wraps it up here from Indianapolis Raceway Park. We congratulate Tallmadge once again on his first career MacTools Cup Series win. And from all of us here in the booth, Napa, thank y'all for watching. Have a good one.